Hey everybody, this is Daniel with Korea RevGen. I've got a new video for y'all today. It's an intermediate video, and it's going to be covering hurdle points, what they are, what their applications are, and then running through a couple of examples. So what is a hurdle point? First off, hurdle points are only used by certain brands. So for instance, IHG hotels, they use hurdle points. A lot of the Hilton hotels use hurdle points as well. So it's a concept that's not across all brands, but it's still a good concept to get down nonetheless. So let's talk about what exactly a hurdle point is. It's basically a value that's assigned to a certain night. And really what it tells you is you're not going to take any reservations that net you a rate below your hurdle point. So you can see here for this particular Friday, this is a hotel here with 72% occupancy on this Friday. Their rack rate is at $99. They have a hurdle point of $80. So basically, all this is saying is that the hotel does not want to take any rate plans that are going to net below $80 for this particular night. So you'll also see some kind of funky numbers here. So you see really low numbers like $20 here on the Sunday. And you might say, hey, my hotel does not have any rates that are $20. So this isn't saying that you will take a $20 or $25 rate. All this is saying is that theoretically you would take anything above $20 at the current moment, just because the occupancy is so soft. Really, where this becomes powerful is where you start looking at longer lengths of stay. For example, let's take a 2-night stay here and combine the $80 hurdle point with the $44 hurdle point. So obviously that comes out to $124. So really what that says is we will allow any 2-night reservation to stay at the hotel that nets us at least $124. A lot of times these will be used in place of a hard restriction. So for instance, look at this Tuesday here. The rack rate is at $89. The hotel is nearing a sellout. They're at 83%. And the hurdle point is at 160. So right off the bat, you say, okay, well, we don't have any rate plans that are $160 when our rack rate is 89. Well, what that is effectively doing is it's pushing longer lengths of stay. So obviously no one can stay one night because we don't have a rate plan that's $160. But look at this 2-night stay here. So if we combine the hurdle points for a Tuesday, Wednesday, things start to get a little bit more reasonable. So the combined hurdle point here is $234. We're probably not even allowing 2-nighters at this point, but what about 3-nighters? Okay, so we combine these 3 hurdle points. It comes out to a combined hurdle point of $235. So if we take $235 divided by 3, now we're starting to see some reasonable rates that we would allow. So let's take a couple of examples. I've built this spreadsheet here for you guys just to kind of run through, what the hurdle points, what their effect is going to be on different rate plans and different lengths of stay. So for instance, let's start with this first example that's already loaded. So we have a 1-night stay at a rack rate. This is not going to be an OTA booking. So will this guest be able to stay? Arrival on Friday night? The answer is yes. Because the cost of the reservation here is $99 to the guest. The hurdle is only $80. So the booking is allowed. What if we turn this into an OTA commission, though? What if this guest books through Expedia? You'll see here that I flipped this switch here to yes. It's an OTA rate. So now we're taking out this 20% commission. And you can see here that the net rate that the hotel is receiving is $79.20. That does not meet the hurdle point here. So this booking is not going to be allowed. So this is a particular instance where if the guest shops it on Expedia or Booking.com, they're not going to see availability. But if they go to the brand site, let's flip the switch again. So it's no longer an OTA rate. The guest will be able to book. So this starts to get interesting when we look at, for instance, advanced purchase rates. So let's flip this to a 2-night stay. You can see here that the guest would be allowed to book. What if they booked a 3-night stay, 4-night stay, and a 5-night stay? You can see that all of these stays here are perfectly allowed because they're meeting the combined hurdle points over those multiple days. So what if we start to bring the OTA commission into play? You can see here that for a one-night stay at advanced purchase, obviously the booking is not allowed. A two-night stay, now that reservation is now allowed to book. And let's take another example here. Let's look at our opaque rate. And obviously opaque is going to be an OTA rate. So you can see here, really there's not a lot of availability here for this opaque rate. If we try to book for one night here, you can see the net rate is very low. It's at $47.52. Obviously that's not meeting our $80 hurdle. If we try to stay 2 nights, same story. It's not meeting our hurdle point. 3 nights again is not meeting our hurdle point. But what if we extend this opaque rate here to 4 nights? That booking is allowed. And that's because the combined hurdle point for a 4-night stay is only $156. And a 4-night opaque rate here is actually giving us $175.68. So that's one of the rare instances in which the opaque rate here would be allowed to book. Okay, and let's take one other example here. We'll look at another advanced purchase. Let's look at an advanced purchase OTA rate. And you can see here, let's bring in a 5-night stay, because you can see that Tuesday here is really high occupancy. So let's see if a guest would be allowed to book a 5-night stay. And you can see they're close, but the net revenue that we're getting from that 5-night advanced purchase is not enough to overcome our combined hurdles, so that booking is not allowed. However, when we take out the OTA commission, you can see that booking is now allowed. So in summary, this is a strategy that some of the brands use to try to drive more direct bookings. You can see that in a lot of scenarios, the OTA commission kind of becomes the make it or break it as to whether or not these reservations are allowed to book. So overall, I hope this was a fun crash course for you guys. If you have any questions, just leave comments. If you would like me to share the spreadsheet, or if you guys have other suggestions as to videos that you'd like to see, just let me know. All right. Thank you, guys.